5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you all to another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I know everybody's been hitting me about the flyer. You know, we have a very special guest tonight. We have a Thomas Hancock. Thomas is one of my favorite people. I've known Thomas since we were in elementary school. And as you all know, we're working on a prison series right now. And Thomas is fresh out. And that is also his nickname, Fresh. Thomas, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been home since February 17th, and I ran into this young lady here, which is a very good friend of mine. And I asked her, let me get on one of them podcast jumps you're doing so I can speak to the people. And she opened her arms up, and here I am.
Yep. But I want to thank you so much for coming on because, Thomas, I know you are a very, very busy man. Even though you just coming home, I never underestimate Thomas Hancock. It's good to have you. So, I don't waste any time hopping right in, you guys. So, Tony, do me a favor. Thomas, I know when you initially came home, we had some footage of that. And I want to kick the show off right. So,
let's go.
Media, if you can.
We're out this zone. We out this zone, Slim. We out this zone. We live out this motherfucker, bruh. We lit. We lit, bruh. We out this zone, Slim. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh.
Got hella phones and shit, earpieces in they shit.
Slim.
Get the cup right there.
Slim.
This new shit. Go ahead and get your chapter.
Slim. Slim.
What's up, bruh?
We good. We out this zone, bruh. Fuck you mean, my nigga? Shit, bruh.
Shit been hella long.
Man, Slim, who you selling? Who you selling? First day out, Slim.
First day out.
First day out, Slim. First day out.
That motherfucker gonna sneak up on me. I ain't till jumping 7 motherfuckers.
Slim. That's it. That's it. It's lit.
I got my chest hot.
It's lit. It's lit. It's lit, Slim.
I gotta get some food. I'm hungry. We're gonna do that. You like you done got in shape or something? Them kids running your motherfucking ass. This shit is whole good with TikToks, man.
Slim. That's it. We out here, man. We out here, Slim. Slim, we out here.
Hey, so what you waiting on right here? Spice about to pull up. Everybody about to pull up. They turned into airport now.
All right, that was good. Yeah. So we get to see, when you initially came home. So when you came home, you actually had to be flown in.
Yes.
Correct. Now, where were you flying from?
I was flying from a prison in Arizona.
Wow.
FCI Safford.
Okay, was that your first time flying?
Nah.
Okay, so that is wild. So your story is different to me because I've never heard of people coming out of prison and having to get on a plane to get back home. So how does that work? Did they take care of your plane tickets?
Yeah, they take care of your plane tickets because they damn sure take enough money from you when you get arrested. So all that's already covered. You know what I mean? They give you your bank card, whatever money you got on your account, they get that to you. They give you your itinerary, and they tell you go ahead and be safe.
Okay.
They release you out to the world.
Got it. So I definitely want to talk about why you were in prison. It was a shock to me when I heard that you were incarcerated.
Right.
What were your charges?
My charges were conspiracy with possession with intent to distribute 1 to 3 kilos of heroin.
Excuse me? Wait a minute.
My charge was conspiracy with possession with the intent to distribute 1 to 3 kilos of heroin.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not a little bit.
It's not a little bit, but it ain't a lot either. Though.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but that's not mediocre charges. So how much time did you do?
I was sentenced to 100 months, which comes out to 8 years and 4 months. And I had to fight to get that because the 1 to 3 kilos of heroin under the federal statute is a 10 to life sentence. But I had a decent lawyer, and he got me underneath a kilo, and that's how I got the 100 months, which was 8 years and 4 months.
Wow.
And I did damn near 7 on that.
Yep. That's crucial. So I want to talk about your time in prison. I wanted us to be able to show some photographs of you, but you have you look mighty different now.
Yeah,
I know before you went in prison, you were a lot smaller. Your physique was a lot different. You were slimmer.
I was skinny.
You was I would like to say you was slim,
Yeah,
but
I was petite.
yeah, but now you put on a lot of weight and things like that. You know, was that diet in prison or was that focus? Why do you think you put on so much weight?
Well, when I was in the streets, I was running around doing a lot of partying, a lot of drinking. I ain't do no smoking. And that drinking fuck with your appetite. And that fast life had you on the go all the time, so you ain't eating properly, you ain't sleeping properly. When I was in prison, I was sitting still, you know what I mean? And I had a chance to eat, sleep, rest good, and work out. So that turned into a lifestyle.
Okay.
And I plan on keeping my weight up and all that type of stuff.
I got you. So one of the main questions that a lot of people like to ask is, when men are incarcerated, how in the world do you keep so many women? I'm serious. Like, I just can't understand it. Who wants, I mean,
it's not about keeping a woman when you're in prison. It's about keeping a relationship with a woman. Now, I'm not the type of person that try to keep my teeth into a woman and control a woman, which a lot of dudes in prison do. They try to tell a woman, stay out the club, don't be dating, don't do this, don't do that. I'm not that type of individual. You know, I went in with a female that I was dealing with at the time, and I gave her the green light to live her life. You know, I just told her, you know, I'm gonna be gone for a while. If you could, make your visits, pick the phone up when I call, send them pictures in, enjoy your life, travel, date, etc., etc.
I got you. Now, do women when men are in prison, do women that you guys don't know try to contact you?
Yeah, I had a situation like that when I was in. I actually was in contact with this female for 2 years straight, right before I came home.
How does that work? How do they even find you?
Oh, my play sister, Danielle, shout out to little sis. She used to post me all the time, miss my brother, I hope he come home. And this particular young lady found me to be strikingly handsome.
You better.
And she say, who is this dude that you keep posting? And my sister said, well, that's my brother. And she kept posting me, and the girl kept liking my picture. So my sister said, man, you know he's incarcerated. And she said, well, I know he's incarcerated. Would he need a care package or something? Tell him I said what's up. And she shot me the number, and me and the young lady was talking for 2 years.
Well, Kid must have a lot of weight with her word, because somebody just posted her. We pinned that comment. Somebody called her a prophet.
Who, Kid?
Yeah, somebody said prophetic.
Oh, Kaya.
Kaya, prophetic Kaya.
That's my baby.
Okay, somebody said prophetic Kaya.
That's one of my best friend's daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I love her.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Kaya, hey, baby.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So look, when we were watching you on that video, you know, I kind of watched you for a second and you made a statement. You was like, man, I just got off the plane. I don't know what the F is going on.
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind at that time? Did you feel like, how did you feel?
I mean, when you incarcerated, man, you away from the public for so long, you only adapt to your environment. You don't see what's going on out here in the world. You don't see females. You don't see no female skin. Ain't no open toes in there. I got a lightweight foot fetish. You feel what I'm saying? So I ain't seen none of that in prison for years. So when you coming out into the world, everything is different. Everything is new.
Yeah, a shout out from your big sister.
Oh, hey, T, how you, love? Don't be interrupting me when I'm doing big business with Ro. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's different, though. You know what I mean? Like when I was coming through the airport, my man was recording me coming through the terminal. And I'm on God, like, who is this nigga? I'm thinking it's just a random dude with a camera. I didn't recognize him until I got up on him. But your antennas is always up. You tuned into a different frequency and stuff like that. But everything is different, man. You gotta readapt and readjust when you get into an environment of the free world. Because when I came home, man, I felt like I had to rush and do everything. I felt like I had to rush to go to this restaurant, rush to go to this lounge, rush to go to this state, rush to go here. And people was telling me like, bro, you home now. Relax. You ain't got to rush and do everything. You know what I'm saying? So I had to really fall back and get my thoughts together, you know what I mean? Because I didn't go to a halfway house. I came straight home, no halfway house or none of that shit. And I was able to move. And my dudes was grabbing me, taking me on planes, and I was just everywhere.
Wow. So I want to talk a little bit about you, you know, just Thomas all around and really dig into your story.
Mm-hmm.
So are you married?
I'm divorced.
Okay.
I got divorced 2012.
Okay. And how
before
long
I went to prison.
How long was that before you went in?
Before I got the divorce?
Right. When you got divorced?
I got divorced 2012.
And when did you go in?
I went in 2015. That was
Okay.
actually one of the reasons why I did go to prison.
Okay. Do you think that your divorce affected you in a major way?
Yeah, it made me, once I lost my wife, and I ain't saying lose her like a nigga took her or nothing like that, but I lost myself in my marriage. You know what I mean? Because at one point in time when I met her, I was at church, I was preaching, she was in church, and that was our foundation of our relationship. And then later on in life, I got away from my spiritual calling and all that, and I started getting back to my old ways, and that's what really separated us. You know what I mean? And once we separated and got our divorce, I just felt like I ain't had nothing else to lose for it, and I just started getting back into the streets and stuff like that.
Now, question, you know, I definitely wanted to talk about the situation with the pulpit.
Yeah.
You know, I see you now, and, you know, I say, what would it be like? You know, I wish I could have gotten a clip of you preaching, but
I should have called my sister.
time wasn't of the essence.
Right.
But I will say this, with you preaching, were you actually ordained? And, you know, how long did you sit in the pulpit? And I'd like to know, do you feel like you'll ever be in the pulpit again?
Yeah, I feel like life is a journey, man, and everything that happens in your life along this journey will come to the conclusion of where you're going to be at the end. You know what I mean? Everybody got a past, everybody got a present, and everybody has a future. You feel what I'm saying? That was my past. This is where I'm at in my present, and nobody knows what the future holds but God. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know, I was called to preach. I didn't have to be ordained by man. I was called. You can't get this anointing from a man laying his hands on you. You feel what I'm saying? This comes from heartache, disappointment, rejection, et cetera, et cetera. That's where my calling comes from, being able to relate to people. You can't go to school to learn how to deal with rejection. You can't go to school to learn how to deal with bullying. You can't go to school to learn how to deal with being ostracized and those type of things. And then to come out of it in the right state of mind, that's God's doing. You feel what I'm saying?
When you did step out of the pulpit,
Right.
because I know that you have a lot of influence.
Right.
So when you did step out of the pulpit, do you feel like people were affected by you coming out of the pulpit? And I'm sure you had a lot of followers,
Yeah.
you know, and I'd like to know some of the things that people said. Did anybody say, you know, Thomas, man, I want to see you back in there, dog? Or,
Yeah.
you know, how did that go? And how did you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it was a point in time when I was all the way into church, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about all the way in with both feet, you know what I mean? And I don't play with the word of God. I don't play with the body of Christ, and going to church looking like you're doing this thing, but you really over here doing this thing. You feel what I'm saying? I'm either all the way in or I'm all the way out. And I just removed myself from the church scene because I was going through some stuff in my personal life where I felt like, and I was a babe in Christ at the time too, you feel what I'm saying? And I felt like every time I pray for somebody to get a job, or if I pray for somebody to get ahead in life or whatever it might have been, God was blessing them. But in the background, I was hurting and I was going through this and my family was struggling. You feel what I'm saying? And I felt like I was being neglected. So what I did was say, you know what? I ain't doing no more work for you, God. You know what I mean? Blessing everybody but me. And I got in my feelings and I removed myself. And I stopped teaching Bible studies and I stopped coming to school, Sunday school and all that. And I started back drinking. And I started back being out in the streets. And before you know it, I was to the neck out there in sin. You know what I mean? And that's how I slid out of the grace of God. You know what I mean? I just had removed myself because I didn't want to be partying one night and preaching the next morning. You feel what I'm saying? I don't move like that. You know what I mean? So that's what happened with that.
Wow, that's a lot. So, since you've been home, when we talk about, because you were pretty well off, before you went in, I don't even have to ask, I know you were pretty well off financially. And it seems like to me, you took care of a lot of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And when you're taking care of a lot of people, I know a lot of times when you come home, you gotta feel that pressure. Like
Right.
people are gonna have that expectation of me. Now that I'm coming back home, and my money might not necessarily be the same.
Right.
I might not be able to do those things. I might not ever, be able to take care of everybody in the capacity that I did before. Street money is different money.
It is.
So what is your plan on that, and how do you deal with that? Like, are people calling on you to take care of them?
Yeah, and I like that pressure. You know what I mean? I like people looking at me in that light because that's where I'm supposed to be at. You know what I mean? As a man, I'm supposed to be able to provide for my loved ones. So when people ask me for things, even if I don't got it, I'm gonna make sure I find a way to get it. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I enjoy about just being a man and setting examples for my kids and stuff like that because they young men as well. You know what I mean? And to whom much is given, much is required. So even though I just came home from prison and I ain't got no bag, I ain't got no treasure buried or none of that type of shit, you know what I mean? But they think I do, and I look like I got it, you know what I mean? But I got some good friends, man, that made sure I was well off throughout my prison bed. And when I touched down, you know what I mean? And people, it looked like I ain't missed a beat, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm good. I started a trucking company from prison, you feel what I'm saying? So I'm in the process of building that and getting that manifesting and getting that up and running as well.
That's wonderful. A lot of times, guys are, they talk about the difficulties of coming home from prison
Mhm.
and trying to find legal work, and a lot of guys say that it's easy for them to slide back to the same places that they used to be. And, I look and sometimes I wonder how good of an idea that is, because when you start hanging around people that's not where you want to be,
Right.
or, it's your old scene, like, how do you think that affects people? Do you think that's a good idea? Or do you think you need to hang around a certain people?
I mean, that depends on the individual. You know what I mean? You got alpha males and you got omega males. You got some guys that are leaders and you got some guys that are followers. You got some people that are going to be extremely effective amongst the company they keep in a negative sense. And you got some people that's going to change their environment when they hit the scene. You know what I mean? I'm one of the type of people that when I come home from prison, everybody know I'm going to get some money. Everybody know I'm going to make a way. So they looking to me like, what's the move? You feel what I'm saying? I ain't coming home trying to figure out what the move is. I already know what the move is. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't follow trends and I don't follow man. I came home with a plan and I'm executing it slowly but surely. And all the good dudes that I have around me, I'm letting them know, look, bro, this what the move is. It ain't the 9 to 5 thing. It's about owning your own company and teaching your kids to own their own companies. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people that go to prison in the first place, because we don't have that privilege of a family member teaching us how to run a business. All they teach us how to do is go get a job, go to school, make good grades so you go work for somebody. That dude that own Walmart, he ain't clocking in. He just got thousands and millions of employees while he's sitting on the beach wiggling his toes, drinking mimosa. You know what I mean? And that's where I want to be, and that's where I'm going to be at.
That's what's up. Now, I want to take a second to go to the audience and give some shout outs, because you got a lot of people coming on here. So we want to give, you have a Dreadhead on here, a TC Campbell.
Oh, that's my sister, my boy, my
you got
brother.
an Ace Young on here.
What's up, young boogie?
Korad Williams.
What's up? He did time. He a soldier. What's up?
Okay, and anybody on here that did time that wants to come on the show, you make sure you drop your information to me. I want to give some shout out. LaShonda, I'm gonna give you 1 second. Hold on, Sean. I want to give some shout outs myself to my regulars that come on. Time is of the essence of night, so I can't shout every single person out. But you guys know I love you. Thanks for the love. Okay, you have a Toya Reed saying keep up the great work.
Hey, Toya.
You got a William Cranberry.
Hey, that's my dog. He just came home too.
Yeah.
Welcome home, baby. I talked to you yesterday.
We want to give shout outs to all of you guys. Thanks for watching. Dion Dalton.
That's my soldier. That's my guy.
You got a lot of love in here tonight.
Yeah, for
But we
sure.
do have some questions from the audience. You guys, if you have questions, make sure you drop them because this time passes so fast. We're already halfway through the show. So, you know, Thomas, when people hear you speak, you know, you speak with so much power
Okay.
and influence.
I didn't know that.
And, you know, when God gives us giftings and anointings,
Right.
you know, whether we use them in or out the church, they aren't revocable.
You better say that.
He don't take our gifts away. They
This
work.
woman is powerful. Y'all better keep tuning into her.
So I will say this, you know, people already are reaching back in the comments and asking, you know, are you going to be mentoring and doing things with the young men? Because, you know, when they hear you have these kind of conversations and, you know, people like you look like them. You know what I mean? You
That's the
have
part
on
I
a,
love.
you have a lot of times I notice, Thomas, that people get into the church or they get to know God and they feel like they need to start looking something else besides the best. Like, and I can't do broke Christianity.
Right.
I don't know
And I'm
where,
not going to do it.
and I'm not going to do it. I don't know why people, you know, soon when you in the church and you got some money going on, people, and don't be a pastor.
And they look at you funny.
And they looking at you funny, like, what?
Why
he
you
doing?
driving a Rolls
Why
Royce?
Why you driving a Rolls Royce? Whatever I drive.
As soon as you go hit the lotto, you go get you a Rolls Royce.
Whatever.
You gonna knock it off.
Look, whatever I drive. If I'm working hard to get it every day, mind your business. And if I come into church with my blonde hair and my red lipstick, don't bother
Yeah,
me. If you
don't
coming in with
bother.
that boss sweatshirt on,
Yeah.
so be it. But that's part of why you are so influential.
Right.
You know, your look, you're up to date, you're trendy, and the way you speak, you cool with it.
Thank
you know what I
very
mean?
much.
So, like I said, people want to
Y'all
know.
can't see me blush.
No, but people do. You know, they want to know, are you going to be mentoring the youth?
Yeah, actually, listen. You know, when you're in prison, man, you write down a bunch of things that you want to do, that you plan on doing. Some things you do, some things you never get around to. But I've written down some things that I wanted to do with the youth. It's a nonprofit for them young boys, and the name of the nonprofit is A Fresh Start. And what that is I want to be able to get a grant or something like that where I could go pull up on the young boys that's in the inner city. You know what I mean? Because some dudes never been outside the environment, never been outside of that 1 block radius, never been out to another state besides Maryland. And I'm talking about the part of Maryland when you cross the street and you in Maryland from DC. You know what I mean? I want to take these kids all over the United States to see all these different landmarks, whether it be the child, the mom, and the father. Even if they're not together, let's give them the family environment. Let's move them around the city. Because I feel like once your horizons have been broadened enough, then there lies your success. You know what I mean? But if you around me personally, I never owned a business before I went in prison because nobody I was around owned a business. You feel what I'm saying? So you only as big as your environment at times. Now you do have some people that slide out the cracks that is in a particular environment that make it out and they become successful. Those are the rare ones. But 9 times out of 10, your father was in jail for selling drugs or shooting people. You going to jail for selling drugs or shooting people. Your mother was abused. You start abusing people. Like, this is just the trendy things that happens in the community. So I feel like if we get these kids out of the community, then we can have them set up for a better future.
That's good. That's good right there. But you know what, Thomas? I will say this. I think that, you know, we come from the same block.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, people from Southeast are different.
For sure.
You know, I love all the people. But when you've been raised on the streets that we were raised on, we really lived through hell.
Yes,
And I don't like to make it seem like our upbringing was any worse than anybody else's. Everybody
Right.
has a story.
for sure.
You know, cry me a river. But, you
Being
know, it was
afraid to get
days
over it.
and get over it. But, you know, it was days where we would be on our way to school and, you know, you might see a body.
Yes.
I've witnessed that. I've been going to school and seeing a body. You know, I remember being in apartment buildings where people was in knife fights, guns got pulled. So long story short, we were exposed to these things and my brothers were always in the street, you know.
Right.
So when you said that you didn't own a business before you went to prison, I beg to differ.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
think that when we were in the streets, I was in the streets as well.
Right.
I had my past with that.
Y'all better say it.
You learn how to do things that you have to do, and we ran that. You know, I didn't do business with you in the street, but when I was in the street, it was very organized.
I wish we could have did some business.
I know it would. It probably would have been a different ending. So, but long story short, it was very organized. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do, and I was a leader.
Right.
And just like you, I'm sure you led a lot, and your influence was the same. We just used it for bad.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to what that leadership is going to look like.
In a positive light.
In a positive light, man.
Right.
And you know, when we
Me too, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I can't wait. And anything I can do to back you, you let me know.
And she don't do no line. Let you know that now. She
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's 1,000. But I will say this too. When you move around like you're about to move around, do you think that some of your friends that are still in the streets are gonna follow your leadership and hop on board?
Yeah, but my concern ain't about those people. My concern is about the people that God got connected to me. You know what I mean? Like Jesus said, like, who is my mother? Who is my father? But he that does the will of God. So I don't get concerned about people that's physically attached to me or people that know me from the past. They might not necessarily be connected to my ministry. You feel what I'm saying? They might have another man of God or woman of God to lead them out of whatever their situation is. So my only concern is lining up with the will of God, and whatever his will is, that's what it is.
And that's so much wisdom that you just speak. You can only know that by experience,
Right.
You know? And I will say this for me, I always kind of look at people, and it's really hurtful when you love people and you know people and you realize that everybody can't go.
And when you want more for them than they want for themselves, that's the hurtful part.
You just hit it.
Yeah.
When you
That's
see,
painful.
it's so hurtful. And a lot of people don't understand that. Everybody doesn't have an empathetic spirit.
And the Bible talks about shaking the dust off your feet if they don't receive that. And sometimes it's just hard to shake that dust off because the emotional connection that you might have with that individual. I got a lot of friends, man, that's well off, but they street dudes. And I don't want them in the streets, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I can't pull them out. It might not be their time. You feel what I'm saying? It's been plenty of times where people might have pulled up on me like, man, you don't need to be doing this. I wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. You know what I mean? But it came a time where, I had to go sit down for 7 years. You know what I mean? I had to get myself together. I had to lose myself to find myself. You know what I mean? And sometimes that'd be the experience that changed you. For me, prison was the best thing ever happened to me. But because I came out with an entrepreneurial mindset. You feel what I'm saying? Before I went to prison, I ain't sell drugs in fucking 12 years. I had no intentions on ever selling drugs ever again. Went through a divorce, went through some bullshit on the job with a dude that owned my security company. I'm making $25 an hour, carrying a little 38, 11 to 7, you know what I mean? I'm looking sweet. I ain't doing nothing but watching a portable DVD at night, clocking in and clocking me a little few dollars, right? With this dude that owned the company, this is how I got in the game, back in the game. The dude that owned the company was deducting my child support, right? But he wasn't making the payments to the courts. So the courts, you feel me? The courts sent me a subpoena for failure to pay child support. So I take my child support, I take my checks down to the court building up in Marlboro, and I show them my pay stubs, say, man, I don't know why y'all not getting the money, but it's coming directly on my check. So they contacted the owner of the company, found out he was stealing the money. They made him pay the back pay. When I went back to work, the dude gave me 3 bullshit write-ups. Oh, you ain't turned the heat off in the booth. You forgot to sign your signature. You left the light on. Put me on indefinite suspension. At this time, I got a 6-year-old little boy that I got custody of, little Nehemiah, my son, my youngest son, you know what I mean? And I'm fighting a divorce. Going through the divorce, and I'm raising this little boy. Now, at this time, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get me another job. And I'm putting these applications in, and ain't nothing hitting back. Now I'm getting pink slips on my door, 30-day notice come. Now, when that 30-day notice come, you feel what I'm saying? I'm looking at my son over there because it's just me and him. And I'm like, man, how the fuck I'm going to take care of this little boy without no job? And I got to get up out this jump. And I made a phone call to my partner, and I got back in the game. You know what I mean? It wasn't because I wanted to, but life dealt me a situation or a blow where I had to just do what I had to do. You know what I mean? I don't regret nothing. It is what it is. Went to jail, did my time, ain't telling nobody. Everybody know that. Shout out to the good man. And now I'm back home, and I'm about to get richer than ever.
That's what's up. Now I will say this. when you were incarcerated, right? Because I can only imagine how your sons look at you.
Man,
I mean, I know you are probably their world, their Superman. So when your sons saw this and had to witness you incarcerated, did they ever come to see you? And when they did come to see you, I would love to know what those conversations looked like.
my ex-girlfriend brought my sons to see me. I was locked up at the federal joint out Baltimore fighting my case. And I had to see my sons through a glass. And when my sons pulled up, they was 9 and 13. Nemo, aka Lil Fresh, and Tay, aka my twin. They pulled up to the glass, and I'm telling them through the glass, like, listen, man, excuse me, I gotta go do some time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be gone for a while. God forbid y'all ever have to go through something like this. This is a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old I'm talking to. You know what I mean? And I'm telling them, like, I gotta go do this time. God forbid y'all ever on this side of the gate. But if you do find yourself on this end of the gate, nobody ain't put no gun to your head and make you do whatever it is. Whatever it is you got caught for, you go do your time like a man. Do that shit. You come home and you hold your head up high. I'm going to do my time. I ain't telling nobody. Y'all go walk the streets with y'all head up high. And I see y'all when I get home. And I had some great friends that made sure my kids was up there on them visits. And I'm going to shout out to my ex-girlfriend too, because she played her part the first 3 years. And she ain't had to do that, but she made sure my kids was on the visits. And the rest of the time, man, all my homies made sure I had visits every time they had a chance. You know what I mean? So it was cool. You feel what I'm saying? And now I'm home, and I'm glad my kids get to see the love that's reciprocated from all the shit I did for niggas, females, and all that. You know what I mean? Because they need to see that love reciprocates. You feel what I'm saying? That was the biggest thing that I wanted them to see.
Wow. So, did your kids, when they came, I know you got boys, and I know
Some good boys too.
I can only
Some
imagine
fly
you
little
saying,
niggas.
y'all better not cry. Like when they used to leave you, because my brothers did time. And when I used to go see my brothers, I had to kind of discontinue it.
Right.
Because it emotionally had it was a toll on me. And my brothers, I don't know how they treated you where you were, but where my brothers were, they did, and one of my brothers did time, and it was hard time for him.
Right.
And those COs and stuff didn't really care for him.
Right.
On a couple of visits that I went on, wherever those people were. So they would kind of block his mail and things like that sometimes. Yeah.
Stop hating so much.
Yeah, and they would kind of be jealous of him. So when I would go, we would go sometimes, and they would cancel our visits. But long story short, right, we're going to get into that in a second about things you go through with COs behind bars. But I will say this, when I used to go see my brothers, I would cry. It would make me cry.
With your tough ass.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. Since God, I cry a little more than I used to. Not a lot of people, you know me, the old me, but a lot of people cannot say they've seen me cry. But now I drop tears a lot easier. And if I love you, then
That's
I know
because you're more secure with yourself.
Yeah, and I know I can cry in front of some people. If I love you and it's
That's
a safe
blessing.
place, people don't understand,
That's
Thomas.
a blessing.
In this leadership piece, a lot of people don't understand the weight
How
of
do flowers grow?
they
How do
grow.
trees grow?
Rain.
Yeah, and that's what tears are. They water your soul and they make you grow.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
a good way to look at it,
For
because
sure.
as you go up the ladder, you deal with different levels of weight. And sometimes you gotta cry. But when
you better not hold that shit in.
But look, when I saw my brothers in jail, that really broke me. Did your sons ever cry when they would leave?
Listen, man, when I caught my case, right, my youngest son was living with me. I was a single parent before I caught my case. The day I moved, I got a house outlaw. I was supposed to take my son to school for his first day. I was transferring him from DC schools to Maryland schools. And the day of that I was supposed to take him to his new school, the feds came and got me 5 o'clock in the morning. And I let my son go home with his mom because she was supposed to meet me at the school to enroll him, right? So when his first visit, I asked him and Tay, they came up there to see me. And I said, man, when did you find out I was locked up? This would fuck me up from the beginning. He said, man, I was in a room sleeping and my mother came in and told me, your father locked up.
Mm.
And I said, how did that make you feel? He said, man, I just started crying. And I said, what was you crying for? He said, because I know ain't nobody gonna take care of me like you take care of me. And I had to excuse myself from the visit room and go in the bathroom and cry because that shit broke something in me. Because I vowed to myself that I would never let my son go through life with an absence of a father, without their father in their life. And I felt like I let him down at that moment because now my son got to go out here and have conversations with strange men to learn who he is and learn what he's supposed to be doing and what he's not supposed to be doing. You feel what I'm saying? And that was one of the most hardest things for me to stomach. That was one of the most hardest things for me to get through. And it's still something that digest right now. You know what I mean? This is my son. You feel what I'm saying? This nigga look at me like I'm God. I'm not God, but I'm godly. You know what I mean? And I'm an example of God in his life. You feel what I'm saying? Until he comes of age to learn who God is. And that was one of the things that really fucked me up. You know what I mean? And well, one thing about my kids, man, one thing I love about kids, they got the agape. You feel what I'm saying? They don't care about whatever people say about them or say about their parents. When you got a relationship with your father or you got a relationship with your kids, they don't see nothing but the best in you. And I appreciate my kids for that, man. Like, there's no time apart from them that will bring anything or any hindrance in our relationship. And I love my kids for that.
That's wonderful. Now, a question, because I know you said that when you went in, you know, with the situation that took place, you said it was beyond your control. So do you feel like when a man is having a difficulty getting money legally,
right,
and he's down, you know, and let's say you are trying, but you may have been laid off, you know, whatever your situation is, you are unable to provide. Do you feel like that's a green light for a man to do illegal things, or should he duke it out?
No, I can't speak for all men. You know what I'm saying? I speak for me. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm always going to take a chance to make sure my family is good. Win, lose, or draw. You know what I mean? Because I don't depend on people. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be spiritual and say I depend on God and all that because I'm human. And sometimes you just in a human state where you can't see God. You can't trace him or none of that. And that's not his fault. That's your fault. You feel what I'm saying? And I just feel like at the end of the day, when you out here in this world, it's a privilege to be able to make a way out of no way, if you will. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have that potential. Everybody don't have family members. Like, just say for my instance, let's just say I come from a wealthy family and I lost my job. I go to my uncle, my rich uncle, man, look, let me get $5,000 so I can pay my rent up for 4 or 5 months so I could continue to look for a job. That wasn't my situation. It was either you pay this rent or you and your son go on the street. What you think I'm gonna do? Me. I was born in Southeast and I was raised uptown. And I claim uptown because that's where I jumped off the porch at. That's where I sold my first rock at. And that's where I grew at in the streets. That's where my street wisdom come from. That's where my street knowledge come from. This is what you see. I'm a product of that environment. You know what I mean? So for me, whether I'm married, whether I'm whatever, I'm gonna always make sure I make a way, whether it's legal or illegal. I've already said I'm never selling drugs again. And life hit me with a situation where I had to go otherwise. But that was then. You feel what I'm saying? Now, up to date, I'm almost 40 years old. Now I know better ways and other ways. I will never have a lack in my life, ever again. And some people say never say never. I would never be broke. It's impossible for me to be broke. My hand covered too much. I've learned too much. And it's all about the knowledge that you obtain. When I went to jail, I wasn't in there bullshitting. I wasn't in there drinking, smoking tobacco, drinking hooch and none of that. And everybody that's watching this show, the niggas that did time with me, y'all know I wasn't doing nothing but reading books and working out. That's it. That's why I came home looking sweet, shining on these niggas. I'm almost 40. These niggas out here 25 years old, got bald heads, motherfucking headline receipt and all that. You know what I mean? Because they ain't want to do nothing with themselves in prison. They wasn't willing to learn. And I learned that the only way to get rich is to obtain knowledge. It's simple. Read you a book, man. Or get with somebody that's reading books and let them lead you. Since you don't want to be a leader, and get up underneath something. And you'll be all right.
That's what's up. You know, some people are in the comments, and I just want to revisit.
I wish we could get them on the phone like the Mark Long show used to be.
And listen, it's sad to say that, but we normally we can. And when I say we working on that, we are working on that. I have been pressing the
I
media
got
about
to come
doing
back
that.
then.
You do, and I'm telling you, the phone is gonna ring off the hook
I'm
when we can
telling
do
you.
that. You guys sit tight because soon we're gonna be having you guys in. We're gonna bring that live audience back very soon. Matter of fact, in the next couple of weeks. So if you are on the show tonight and you know that you're gonna want to come in and sit in as a live audience member, start sending me your information via inbox, and I'll have my team to get back to you. Your sister said, "Take your glasses off." She said,
Nah, you doing too much.
She
see?
said, "I want to see your eyes."
This my cool look though, boo.
Yeah, and I want to send a shout out. I see a Damon Roberts on in the comments, and that's my guy right there. He did time in the in Afghanistan, and he was something. He did a lot of training over there, and he got a lot of mistreatment done. He came on
Shout
the show
out to you,
before.
Big Damon,
Yeah,
the big homie.
Damon, a real
Much
one.
respect to you,
Thanks for
soldier.
tuning in. William Cranberry said Fresh did read a lot.
I'm trying to tell you.
He
did
said he
time,
was
boo.
reading.
I'm
He
glad to
said-
see you home, man. I told that nigga he wasn't gonna do all that time.
Yep.
He home now.
So look, another thing that I want to discuss is treatment when you are incarcerated. Now, how long you been home now?
2 months, probably exactly, or a little bit less or a little bit more.
Okay, I want to talk about what COVID looked like to you when that hit.
We
Now,
took that COVID shot after the second wave.
they allowed you guys to get vaccinated?
What did they? Vic Derma.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so tell us a lot about I want to hear a lot about that. I want to know how you learned about COVID. I want to know if people died from COVID in
Did
there.
they?
Tell me about that.
I was in Lompoc, California, man, 2019, 2020, when COVID first hit the federal system. And where I was at in Lompoc, it was only one other prison that was equivalent to the foolishness and the outspread of COVID, and that was Terminal Island, also in LA. Man, we was watching the news one day, right? Excuse me. We was watching the news one day, and they started talking about this virus on CNN, and motherfuckers was like, man, what the fuck is going on? Woo, all that. So one of the inmates started making a mask from scarves, and he started selling them on the compound. The COs was already wearing masks. We wasn't even privy to what was going on out there. So when the COs would see us with these masks on, they tell us, take that mask off or we're going to write you up. And we like, shit, you got a motherfucking mask on. Obviously, you protecting yourself from something. So it was either take the mask off and be exposed or go to the hole. That's how they was carrying niggas. You know what I mean?
What?
So, yeah, this was what was going on. So when that joint hit, I caught COVID April 16, 2020. I lost my smell for 2 years. I almost died in that motherfucker. I couldn't smell nothing. I was having heart issues, lung issues, breathing issues, the whole nine.
What?
Blurry vision, everything. And I wrote a letter home to my sister and them and said, man, this disease is in here. I don't know if I'm gonna make it home. I love y'all, blah, 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 blah. And I was in that joint going through it. And niggas was in there dying. You know what I mean? They was telling dudes, man, some people was complaining about chest pain. They like, man, just lay down, relax.
What?
And niggas laid down and died, literally. You know what I mean? Slob hanging down their mouth. They on the bunk dead. Because, you know, the feds locked niggas up from all over the world. So they had a dude named Muhammad, man, rest in peace. He'd never been to America in his life. They went over there, got his ass, put him on that bunk. And that nigga ended up dying in prison. You know what I mean? COVID fucked the system up. It was fucked up in there. They had us sleeping in an old ass building that had got shut down from lead and all that shit. They had us over in Lompoc, USP, in these old ass cells. They ain't even had fire. What them Jones says, fire alarms, fire extinguishers. They ain't had none of that shit. They definitely didn't meet the safety code. And they had feces and shit all on the wall in the cells. And we in that motherfucker. Cold water showers. Them curry out trays, them white joints, we standing on them jumps for shower shoes.
Oh my God. We got some questions from the audience,
Yeah.
Thomas, and I want to make sure you can address everybody's
Okay,
question.
that's cool.
So we have a Dion Dalton here.
That's my guy. I love you, nigga.
And he's saying, having time to observe others extensively in prison, what's the biggest difference between those you consider to be winners and those you consider to be losers?
Well, me personally, you know how I feel. Like at the end of the day, like the only thing that separates people that's not successful and people that are successful is the people that are not successful. They just busy talking about becoming successful and they never make a move. And the people that are successful, they make a move and they become successful. And that's how I feel about that. Don't talk about it, be about it. Make your move. I don't give a fuck if it's one step at a time, but do something. Don't just keep talking.
Got you. Now we have, hey Vic, how you doing? Vic is another OG. Vic doing a lot of
Big Vic.
Yeah, Vic made it to the other side of a lot of it. We ain't gonna get into his story, but Vic was definitely street.
Shout out to Vic,
yeah, Vic a real one, and he doing a lot of work in the community. When
Tell
I say
him get with me so I can get with him.
And they giving him hell. You know, Vic done fought some battles, so you know he doing something. But Vic, you familiar with a California car? Vic said, he said, what was the politics like with the California car?
Oh yeah, them niggas respect me. You feel what I'm saying? I've been out California with the Mexicans and Bloods and Crips and all that. I was out there with the big homie Hurrio. Shout out to Hurrio. You know what I mean? He home now. It's a different environment on the West Coast. You know what I mean? And my homies that I was on the East Coast with prior to me going out West was telling me like, bro, you changed your address to go do time out Cali. You know, it's different out there. Because the homies in the system, meaning the DC dudes, them niggas cause havoc all over the federal system. Like it's no stronger car in the system outside of DC. And DC dudes, they hold it down. They well respected on every compound. My paperwork was good. I ain't telling nobody, so I felt like I could go anywhere in the BOP. So I wasn't tripping. You know what I mean? And I changed my address when I was West. And you know what I mean? The Mexicans and all that shit, when they know you from the East Coast, they ain't trying to do nothing but flood you with drugs anyway. So them niggas ain't no issue.
So I know a lot of times we discussed this last week. A lot of times when guys go in, you know, they say that guys turn Muslim for protection.
Salam alaikum.
And I'm sure that you had some encounters with that. What did that look like? Did anybody ever approach you to become Muslim, or did you have to seek protection while you was in there?
Nah, I don't need no protection. I'm a man. I go walk any compound. I live my life the way I want to live my life. Some people do get up under stuff like that. You know what I mean? For whatever their insecurities might be. I respect religion in its totality. You feel what I'm saying? I don't got anything against Muslims. I don't have anything against Buddhists. I don't have anything against any other religion. I'm a Christian. I'm a died Christian. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, can't nobody uproot me from what I believe in. And I'm not trying to uproot anybody else from what they believe in. I just respect it and I keep it pushing because I know at the end of the day, if a person say they got a problem with, let's just say Islam, nigga, if you was born in Afghanistan, chances are you will be Muslim. So being as though I was born in America under a black family that was brought from Africa over here to America, which they put Christianity in America, my chances of being Christian is more higher than it is being Islam. And I just leave it at that. You know what I mean? Whatever makes you the best you, man, I salute you and praise be to your God.
Yeah.
And I leave it at that.
That's what's up. When you were incarcerated, did you ever have issues? You know, you got, like I said, with your personality, I just don't see that you were incarcerated and feeling like you were less than. You know, I'm sure you got a lot of mail. I'm sure you were well off. And I'm sure everybody knew that. I'm sure they saw you didn't have any lack. Did you ever have people that were jealous of you in prison? And like, did the COs ever give you issues because of that?
I never had no problems with COs for the simple fact I know I don't have no win with a CO. You feel what I'm saying? And I mean, you don't have a win with a CO because they could just throw you in the hole for whatever reason. If you look, you can't even look at a female in prison too long. They call that reckless eyeball. You know what I mean? You looking at her, you watching her because you in prison. You might not have been with a woman for 15, 20 years. She might got a hell of a walk. You might be on that jump. If she catch you watching, your ass going to the hole. And there's nothing you can do about it. If a CO tell you to stand up for count or whatever, come wake you up out your sleep, you don't have a win. I understand that. So I choose my battles carefully. Like I know I ain't got no win. Only a knucklehead or foolish man fights a battle that he knows he's gonna lose. You feel what I'm saying? And I don't move like that. I knew I was in their environment. I know these people that COs, y'all can't get in my business in the street. Y'all out here driving Toyota Corollas and working for the band. I don't do that. But I know I'm gonna respect that because I'm in your world right now. And when you come in my world, just respect my world. That's it.
That's what's up. Now, I know we getting down to the last 10 minutes of the show.
10 minutes. I wish I could spend the night in here.
I know, right? And what I will say is I know a lot of guys that are incarcerated do look at the shows and things like that, you know. And for anybody that wants to see the show later, first of all, everybody that's on the call, make sure you like it and share it. And also, you can always come back to my page and go in the video section and catch it, or you can go to YouTube, Ro Ingram, and all the shows I posted there, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to reference this. But if you share it to your own page, you can reference your own page. And for the guys that are watching this, that are still incarcerated, you know, some of those men aren't coming home ever.
Right.
You know, did you ever have any dark moments where you kind of felt like you ain't want to live no more, or, you know, you just felt really down on yourself, or felt like you was in an impossible, you know, state when you was in jail? And for the guys that's watching, what kind of encouragement would you give them on how to get through that?
I mean, me personally, right? Like, I ain't had life. I always had a date. I went in with a date. I knew at the end of the day, if I did 8 years and 4 months at the max, I was coming home. So I could sleep well with that. I don't know how I feel to have life, so I can't speak on that. You feel what I'm saying? But those men that are doing life, man, just be the best that you could be. Be the best you could be to yourself. Be the best you could be to your family and the people that love you. You know what I mean? And always just stay positive. You know what I mean? But it's hard for you to tell somebody it's easy to stop smoking cigarettes. If I tell you, man, why you keep smoking cigarettes? Stop smoking them Jones. If I never been addicted to a cigarette, how can I tell you it's easy to stop smoking? And that's one of them situations where, like, I don't put myself in that situation because I haven't been touched by that infirmity. So I just, you know what I mean? I just respect that you tell me how you deal with it, because I'm not in a position to tell you how to deal with it. You feel what I'm saying? That's just how I deal with that.
I got you. And people starting to drop some questions. Hey, Sister Tania, thank you so much for tuning in.
Is that fast? That's my favorite sister.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This might be mine. Tania Owens. This might be my sister.
Okay.
Tania Owens. She a twin.
Okay, then.
You may know her. Who knows? Small world.
She need to stop.
But Dion wants to know, what was the best book that you read while you were in? That would be some more information that you could give for the people that are in.
That last book you sent me, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's a life changer. If you ain't got to, go get it.
What was one nugget from the book?
One of them jobs was, they was talking about, like, if you want to be successful and you want these things in life, then you need to mirror certain people that have these things. It's all about your environment, man. You know what I mean? It's all about your environment.
All right, that's good right there. Like I said, guys, we got Thomas for about 8 more minutes. So you guys make sure you drop your things. And thank you guys so much for all the love and the support. You guys could be doing anything. People going on and on about the show. Vic said Atomic Habits.
That's that motherfucking bomb right there. Atomic Habits was a bad motherfucker.
So what was Atomic Habits about?
Atomic Habits is, from what I got, it's about how to break bad habits, how to obtain good habits. And one of the most important things that I got out of that book was your environment, man. That was one of the most, for me, that was one of the things that stuck with me out of that book was your environment. And your environment is so important to your success. You know what I mean? When you come from the hood and you trying to be somebody from like the block to the billboard, you need to be around some people that's actually in business meetings, some people that's living that square life to transition into that environment. Because if you don't, you know what I mean? You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So if you keep hanging with the same motherfuckers, you're going to keep getting the same results.
We got another question for you. Antoine wants to know,
This nigga Twan.
what would you tell your 30-year-old self?
Damn, that's a good
That's
question.
a good question.
Wow. I was in my prime at 30. I was getting a lot of paper too. I couldn't tell myself shit then, but if I could tell myself anything now, back then, it would have been watch the people that you show love to, because that shit ain't real all the time.
Mm.
That's a fact. And I had to learn that shit the hard way. You know what I mean? Really the hard way. 7 years, backdoor, all types of bullshit from people that I did extend my hand to. That should never happen again. But yeah.
So when you say, I like, more clarity on that. When you say, everybody, you got to watch the people that you love. To be honest, do you think that we can always dodge that? Because it's really, the truth is, it takes, the real niggas love continuously. You know what I mean? And it takes bravery to love. Because the truth is, it's not brave when you just shut down to yourself. When you just say, I'm going to do me.
Right.
That's not fulfilling the calling and the purpose. Fulfilling the calling and the purpose is saying, I know some of y'all are snakes. And I can't tell which one it is.
And sometimes you can. You just don't want to see it for what it is.
That's true too. Yeah, and I think that's more
that
or less.
was one of my things. I just ain't want to see it. I knew it. I seen the flags. I seen your selfish ways. I seen how you looked at me when I was at my peak. I knew you was envious. And I still indulged in that relationship. So I can't blame nobody but myself.
Yeah, it's wild. And do you think that, when you see people as you are rising and as you are doing extremely well, in life, especially financially, and when you're the person that people listen to, do you think that when you see habits like that, or you see characteristics on people like that, that you should slowly but surely back yourself up from that?
No, you should abruptly do it. You should do it right then and there in mid-conversation. I see a selfish person. I run so fast in the opposite way. Man, I'm talking about right now, man, you lucky to see my shadow. I don't even grace people with my presence like that. I know who to indulge with and who not to indulge with. You feel what I'm saying? Like, man, listen, if you close enough to rub elbows with me, go play the lotto. You a lucky motherfucker. That's for sure. I ain't dealing with niggas like that. You know what I mean? Because when I did my time, you niggas wasn't there. Now I'm home. You like, welcome home. You my guy. I ain't see you on a visit. I ain't see no pictures of your kids. I ain't hear you saying, oh, such and such called to see how you was doing. None of that. So keep it like that.
And we good. Toya said, Toya Reed, she said self is our biggest teacher.
For sure.
And you know what I always say, Thomas? I tell people, embrace pain. When people break your heart, and it's normally the people that you really told everything to, that saw every side. And when you get that person that you really thought you could cling to, because you know how we are. I'm like a female version of it, and you like a male version of it. We strong, and it's hard to break us. And when you do have people, we kind of cling to people, the few that we have, when we need them, because things get weighty right here. You know what I mean? And as you go on this business venture, I know I'm going to get calls from you. You're going to be like, bro, it's real wild this week. It gets weighty. But when your heart is broken, I always tell people that the pain will leave when it's finished teaching you.
That's big. I like that.
The pain, it teaches us. You can't forget it. When you got to sit in that heartbreak and you lose sleep and you burn it and you on fire inside, you got to sit in it. But we always come back better. But you guys, I want to thank you all. Thomas, that's going to be almost a wrap for us. Okay. We got like 1 minute left, and I just want to say thank you.
I want to thank you for what you're doing and what you're doing for your viewers, man. This is going to bless a lot of people, and it's only going to get bigger from here.
Well, thank you.
Despise not small beginnings.
Yeah, but it's people like you, like I said, that make the show, and it's your influence that makes the show. It's really not about me. Right. And I know that tonight you touched a lot of people, and I know this show will go to other platforms, and thousands of people will see this show. And I just want to say welcome home.
Thank you very much.
And that I am proud of you, and I'm rooting for you, because I know you're going to do everything you said. You guys, I want to thank you all for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. I'll see you guys right here next week, Monday at 7, as we continue our series on prison. And also, if you are in the comments and you have done time in prison, I'm not talking about 2 days. I'm talking about
short time.
We appreciate it. But, you've done some hard time, inbox me. I love to have you as a guest. Good night.